Hey guys, Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and this is a Land Cruiser 70 FRP top short wheelbase from 2001, which is kind of important. Mileage on this one, authentic 55,000 kilometers. I've never seen a 70 series with this low of mileage. Okay, I'm going to switch the engine off. I've tried out a couple of things, checked the mechanics of it. The engine runs very well, AC is nice and strong. No troubles with power steering or, well, basically anything. There you can see 55,596, and this is a later model one, so you get that digital odometer. I'll switch it off because it is still a 1HZ engine, and it is still a noisy engine, but man oh man are these the loveliest engines in the world. If you've ever driven one, you're definitely going to fall in love with it. Now, I did call this a 1HZ. In the previous video, I don't know what happened, I called the engine a 1HD, and sure enough, half the comments in the comment section were, are you some kind of idiot? That's not a 1HD, it's a 1HZ. Yeah, okay, so inline 6-cylinder engine. This is a non-turbo dual battery system. It's a 4.2 liter diesel inline 6-cylinder. 55,000 kilometers is really, really weird. So the thing is nobody bought Land Cruisers. No star here for unknown mileage. Nobody bought Land Cruisers that weren't going to drive very much. This one here is now, well, 20 years old with only 55,000 kilometers on it. It's very, very low mileage. And this is a late model. These ones are big money. And part of the reason why these late models are big money is because around the world they got rid of the short wheelbase for the 1999 refresh, except for in very limited markets such as Japan. And it has lots of little things that are a little bit different, and I'll go over a couple of those things as we go around. So engine, I don't think that there's any changes in the engine from the earlier model ones. These are just fantastic. Oh my gosh, so good. The coolant is good. That's not actually leaking, that's just me opening it up to check it. The oil is very good. And before I close the hood here, I just want to mention, there's a few little spots of rust, like corrosion here, and the beginnings of it here, and on the front cross member here. Now I looked all throughout the underside, wheel wells, frame, and things, and I couldn't find an awful lot of corrosion. The auction inspection sheet of this one said corrosion on the underside. The worst part that I could find is like the axles are a little bit crusty, and like your lateral rods and steering damper and stuff. The actual frame sections all seem to be fine, all except for this weird little modification that was put in by a previous owner to fit maybe a winch or something that's no longer there. This isn't original, and it's a little bit crusty. Now the rest of the body-wise, you have a touch of little bit of rust in one spot. I'll get to that in just a second, but pretty much no scratches or dents on it. Very good looking interior and exterior, and always going to appreciate in value, which is one of the cool things about the Land Cruiser. And if you are a husband, like me, and you have a wife who doesn't really like the old school styling because she doesn't have good taste, you just tell her you buy it, and 5 years later you sell it, and you've made $2,000 or more. And so there's no reason not to have a Land Cruiser, at least in my opinion. And the 70 series has to be my favorite. Now, I prefer the long wheelbase 70 series, of which we actually have one in here, but not supposed to put that on video. The short wheelbases definitely have a charm to them. Off-road capability will be better. They come with the big engine. The wheelbase of the 1999 version is slightly longer, but not by very much. I don't know the exact measurements, and all of the room goes into the trunk section. Okay, so let's go ahead and translate the auction inspection sheet. And for those who can't afford Land Cruisers like me, Toyota BB. That's actually not my real car, it's just a company car. But it's kind of like a mini Land Cruiser. They're both Toyotas, right? Okay, so I'll go over this sheet. I'll translate it real quick here. It's a 2001 Land Cruiser ZX 4.2 liter engine, option 4 with an interior C. It's an FRP top. Now they come in hardtop and FRP top for these short wheelbase. The FRP top is a removable top. You can take it off and then you can drive around. You can flip down the front windshield and then you can drive around. You need to put something on the hood to stop it from bashing up your hood though. And there's a roll cage that is in these later model ones, which significantly takes away from the rattles and squeaks that you would normally get in the FRP top version. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4 points with bars up, and yeah, it's cool. I'll come back to the trunk in a second. Where's my sheet? Okay, rear tire mount, stock condition car, interior 1 part dirty, seat cigarette burn, rear tire carrier part scratched and cracked, the bed section scratched, underside surface rust and corrosion, various scratches and dents, uneven paint on the hood, AY2, it's a crack here in the back, it's on the over fender, I'll show you that, and then a dent in the back section here. Now as far as Land Cruisers go, this is one of, if not the cleanest one that I have seen. A lot of people rough ride their Land Cruisers. Fair enough, that's what they're for. The 70 series is the continuation of the 40 series. So if you know anything about Land Cruisers, the 40 series, the old ones that look like super old Jeeps from the 60s, I mean, that's a way to put it for those who don't know. They're the tough work vehicles, and then the 70s are the tough work vehicles. All the other Land Cruisers are comfort models. Just set this down. Okay, so I'll do it once around. I'll show some damages after that. Differences. Okay, you get different headlights, grille, marker lights, and mirror on the front there for the post-1999 version. You get a slightly longer wheelbase. You get coil springs on the front instead of leaf springs. This gives you much more front comfort when you're driving, apparently. That's what coil springs, the upgrade is for. Leaf springs are still in the back, but they elongated the leaf springs, and so they are a longer travel leaf spring in the back. So the interior cage was an option on the earlier ones on the top removal kit version. Now here's the funny thing about this. The top is removable if you want, the doors are removable if you want. These back doors, if you remove the top, you get windshields, you get this bar here, the hoop that goes across, you get nothing here, like there's no wall there, and then the door comes up, which is really goofy. So you have to remove the rear doors when you take off the top, or get some sort of an aftermarket replacement. Toyota made a kit, I've only ever seen it once, and it has removable door tops. And I don't think that they were sold in Japan. I think that was only an option outside of Japan, and I've never seen the roll cage, the removable door sections, or the bumper pads for the hood for folding down the windshield. I've never seen that kit on a car in Japan except for once. Oh, one of the other things they did, and I'm not sure exactly why they did this, but they moved from a 6-bolt wheel to a 5-bolt wheel for the 99 version. And so it's kind of like a G-Wagon, kind of like a Toyota G-Wagon, or a better idea is like a Defender. The Defender 90s are huge money because they're very limited for the 97 and 98 versions with the V8. And so this one, very, very limited version, very expensive. Okay, damages. So the chrome is pitting. It has some surface rust on it. Time for a refinish. Inside the cracks in here, there are a few places on the car where there's some rust. Most of it is minor. This might be one of the bigger ones. I think the biggest one is underneath the windshield right here. Okay, the cowl panel here is okay. The hood is okay. And my apologies, the car is really dirty. I'm not sure exactly what happened here. Usually we get dirty cars around like the springtime with pollen and that. This one's just super dirty. This shows you how close your front fender is. This one shows you how close your front bumper is. Very handy little mirror. Chrome mirrors here, a little bit of pitting on the pot steel. If you don't know what pot steel is, go check that out. It's something to learn about. Side running boards are okay, no signs of corrosion or anything. This piece of plastic is put on to protect it from rock chips, but it ends up just cracking and looking bad itself. The crack in the over fender is right here. Now some people put on larger over fenders if you're putting on larger tires, and so that could be an option for this. Otherwise a body shop could repair that. Oh, here's another difference in the later model ones. They come with these fancy hubs. So this is how you lock the hubs, and on older Toyotas and a lot of older 4x4s, they would have this little switch here. So to turn it into four-wheel drive, you push a button inside or pull a lever, and you come out here and you go, and then you're in full locked version. Now most 4x4s nowadays have either auto locks or power locking hubs. Neither of them are as good as the manual, spare for the fact that you have to get out in the snow or the mud in order to lock them. And this is a solution to fix that problem. You have a auto when it's open, so you can drive it, and if you get stuck in the snow, you can get out. But if you want the security of having full lock that you know you have on all the time, you can lock it here. The only compromise is you need a wrench to do it. But pretty interesting. Tires are 2015 with basically 100% tread on them. FRP talk. And these are having a resurgence here in Japan. Anything that is kind of retro styled is having a huge resurgence right now as people are kind of moving away from the bubbly weirdo cars and back to something that's tougher. I'm seeing a lot of it and I like it quite a bit. Speaking of things I like that. I don't like this. And unfortunately this whole cover's probably got to go because of that. It's cool, but it's cracked. And yeah, the surface rust there as well. Also, solid front axles, front and rear. That's a huge deal. And here's a little bit of a information nugget. See, this one is off to the side instead of in the center. The front one is off to the side instead of in the center. This is intentionally done. Most vehicles have a transfer case which will put this one into the center, and the front one will be offset, just because the geometry of it makes it easier to have that one offset because the drive shaft has to come around. Having them both offset like this is intentional so that if you know you're going to run over something, like a stump or a rock or something, you can slot that here, and then you have a free pass through without knocking your lower hanging differentials. So, it's a nugget. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, speaking of nuggets, in McDonald's in Japan, it's 5 pieces instead of 6 pieces. And so, if you like your nuggets, don't come to Japan. You'll get fewer of them. Okay, speakers in the back doors. Back doors have scratches. Now this is what they were talking about with the trunk scratches. Looks like some rattly, heavy-duty stuff was in the back here. There's also a stain in the back carpets. There is. Oh, there is not. The earlier ones used to have a little storage container that's underneath there. I guess they took that out. 3-point seat belts are added onto this part. And this is a double flip down seat. You can flip it flat and then roll it in order to give you the most amount of room in the back here. And that is more room than a first gen Forester by far. Once you flip that, when you have it up like this, it's probably about 85% of a first gen Forester. Okay, the barnyard doors are cool, but keep in mind that if you're going to run a larger spare tire, it has a maximum, because you have to be able to open this door in order to get, otherwise you could build an adapter to push the tire out more to the side. Dented back part of the bumper. Okay. Okay, the interior is slightly different for these later model ones. The door cards are a more modern design for the fabric. All of this is basically the same. I'm not sure if these ones crack as badly. For the older model ones, you get cracks along here, especially the 60 series. When people get in, they rub their foot on this as they're trying to get onto here, so they've worn the paint off. I'm sorry about that. They've let the door hit the bar. The door was stopped, but when I stepped on there, it cajoled it. Cajoled? I don't know how to pronounce words in general. Okay, so yeah, they painted over it, and then there's some rust that's coming through. You're going to want to wire brush it down and then paint it again. Automatic transmission, you can get them with automatics or manuals. Nice big steering wheel. It's a redesign of the steering wheel from the earlier models. The seat, this one is not Spring's suspension seat. They do come with that, but I don't know if the late models do. Here's your cigarette burn that the auction sheet was talking about. And it doesn't smell like cigarettes inside. In fact, it has a nice, clean smell to the interior. Coming in, 4-wheel drive on. And then you're ready to go. and then you can go wrench it if you need more four-wheel drive, I guess. Okay, tape deck AC. The AC is very strong in these. Cigarette lighters, automatic transmission shifter, four-wheel drive high and low gear ranges. Okay, second button. So if you get stuck in the mud, you press the second in order to give you more traction. That cuts out first gear so that the engine doesn't give enough torque to the wheels in order to spin them. That's kind of the idea. Also known as the snow button for some cars. No smokes in there, that's good news. This is a real metal unit. I was thinking the other day that not enough stuff is made out of metal anymore. Flat windshield. I really badly want to see what this looks like with the windshield rolled down or folded down, I mean. Headliner's good. This is a roll hoop with the roll bar back there. And then the seats. Let me show you my seats. There you go. Legroom, negligible, but worth it. Oh, here's something weird. This is supposed to spring back into position, but it doesn't, so you just go like this. Unless you manually push that back down. Okay. Whew. It's like 1,000,000 degrees today. Actually, it's not that bad. It's like 30, maybe 31, 32. This week has been rough, though. Whew. Toyota Land Cruiser. End of the video. 16 minutes is far too long for these videos. If you made it all the way this far, I'm surprised. Anyway, thank you for watching. Guy's coming. Pointing at my feet. I'm not recording you, guy wearing blue pants. Yes, I am. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.